My bill, H.R. 7375, would ensure that expressions of interest, or EOI fees, are paid only by those companies who win the corresponding acreage in a lease sale. This will prevent multiple people and operators from having to pay funds to the BLM to submit the same acreage, and will incentivize the agency to actually offer acreage included in submitted EOIs. Now, the misnamed Inflation Reduction Act created many structural flaws regarding energy production and permitting, resulting in impracticalities and confusion on how to implement EOIs and other fees. A few months ago, Ms. Kathleen Sagama from the Western Energy Alliance testified about some of the impracticalities. For example, she explained that companies are paying for services that they aren't receiving. She also pointed out the fact that the administration's policies have confused the market in many ways and are furthering unaffordable and unreliable energy pursuits. We've seen this administration attempt to force a transition away from affordable and reliable energy by taking actions such as canceling pipeline projects, increasing burdensome regulations, and refusing to issue leases. On top of that, they've attempted to disrupt the multiple use framework outlined in FLPMA and initiated burdensome resource management plans that hurt local communities. The last thing that we need from this administration is another excuse to avoid the issuance of leases. According to Ms. Sagama's testimony, the BLM is playing games with how it counts EOIs and acreage offered, suggesting that they intend to avoid meeting both the letter and spirit of the IRA provisions that are intended to prevent the department from completely crowding out reliable energy resources. I think that we all agree that it's wrong to pay fees to an agency for services not provided. That's what's happening under the IRA with oil and gas expression of interest fees. Companies pay $5 per acre every 3 years to express interest in an oil and gas lease, but as we all know, it's then been the policy of this administration to neglect actually issuing those leases. I initially introduced a bill that would allow entities with inactive leases to be reimbursed and to allow the term for which the EOI applies to be extended from 3 years to 5 years. This initial proposal would have simply allowed producers to get what they pay for and to be reimbursed when leases are not issued. After further consultation with energy companies, and particularly after our hearing with Ms. Sagama from Western Energy Alliance, it was clear to me that we could take a better approach that addressed the problem of leases not being offered, as well as the problem of entities filing for random acreage that would never be bid upon. If EOI fee language remains unchanged, BLM would require companies to pay a fee of $5 per acre for the acreage they express interest in, even if that acreage is never offered or sold. Essentially, the BLM is positioning itself to charge for providing nothing in return, and based on the fact that they don't offer lease sales. My bill resolves this problem by saying that BLM may not collect a fee for EOIs until the acreage is actually offered at a sale. My bill also addresses the problem of parcels being offered at an auction that don't receive any bids. Whether sold or not, my bill requires the EOI fee to be paid for simply being offered at an auction. This would allow BLM to cover its lease processing costs, and it would eliminate any incentive for a company to express interest in lands that nobody's interested in. It is imperative that we implement a new strategy to ensure that leases are being offered. I urge my colleagues to support this legislation, appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I yield back.